This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
All right.
Let's go. I'm trying to hear the song.
John, remember what I told you? Thank you.
Town council.
Oh, yeah. Bye, town council.
Hey, town council.
Let me tell you something.
Yes, sir.
The Gophers played the worst period of hockey in college history, outshot 14-2 in the third period. They might have lost to Quinnipiac, which isn't a bad club, but they improved their loss chances by going into a shell in the third period, and I'm shocked that this doesn't get analyzed and covered. They're just allowed to let this embarrassment skate by.
It is being analyzed and covered. And I
No,
find
it
it
isn't.
hard to believe. Well, the guy's but there's a reference to it.
Oh,
in
yeah.
there.
No, the Gophers appeared to go into a shell.
yes.
Appeared to?
Yes.
Irondale would have scored 2 goals against them.
Quinnipiac. Oh, here's the deal. I think I got a copy of Motzko's speech before the third period, and he said, whatever you do, guys, don't move the puck outside your own zone. Keep it down here, fellas, and let them throw it around.
So the players are morons, not the coach.
No, they never want to fight for the puck the whole game.
They stopped trying to.
They stopped trying to go fight
They
for
got
the
to
puck.
the neutral zone and turned around and went back.
Well, to some degree, they probably did, but there was usually when there was one of them in the neutral zone, there were 3 of the other guys.
Because their confidence kept building when they realized these guys are laying down. They're going to try to win this thing 2-1. Let's go get them. Let's go get them.
They're still waiting to win. They're down there, They're down in the. Everybody says they just let them come into the zone.
Yes, they did.
Well, they were in the zone. They were there for 16 of the 20 minutes.
Let me tell you
never got
something.
the puck out.
Let me tell you something.
If you're killing time, if you're in a shell, the whole idea is to get the puck into the neutral zone.
Which
right?
they did, and that's as far as it got.
How many times did they
outshot 14-2?
Yes, they stunk.
Worst period of college hockey ever played in history.
Right. Okay.
In history.
Okay, and you know who I blame? The athletes.
Okay, I don't care who you blame.
They never want to tussle. They never want to tussle.
It was dreadful. It was dreadful.
It was awful. There's no doubt about it.
You know what zone you two are in right now? You are in the, come on. Oh, I just had it too. The old writer with Reusse.
It's time to get into the steam zone. Who won the bet? Yeah, I don't know who won. Sure.
Yeah.
I think I was right.
Tell Reusse the bet.
The bet was, I was going to say all this, and my bet was, you watch, Pat will be completely contrarian
I'm not
and take
completely
the other way.
contrarian. They stunk.
Okay.
But it's not all on their philosophy of the period. The philosophy
There
became,
was none.
We can't get the puck out of our own end. Win a battle, for God's sake.
They're good enough.
How about a face-off?
They were good
How
enough to
about a
get the puck
face-off?
out of their own
I
end.
said if you're in the transfer portal and you can win a face-off in your defensive zone, call the Gophers.
Right.
They never. If you're trying to kill penalties, and now I give the coach from Quinnipiac having the big cojones to send out to pull his goalie to make it 6-on-4. You got to win a face-off. Then they never won a face-off.
Yeah, and you're never going to win a title game 2-1 ever.
No, I mean they
what
got what they deserved. They got outplayed.
What they did is the same exact thing Mankato did a year ago. That's the exact same period that took
Right,
place.
hold on.
Yeah, they were just trying to hang on 1-0, and Denver scored twice in the third period and beat them.
But They blew it. Let's just face it. They never came flying out of their zone with the puck with a 2-on-1 or anything. They were fighting for their lives to get it to the neutral zone because they didn't win a battle.
Well, it was pathetic. They should have won a battle because they sure as hell won battles in the first period.
Yes, but if you've watched them like the rest of us,
I did. I watched more of that game than you did.
They had a great first period.
Oh, the hell with the season! I'm not going to waste my time watching the whole season.
They had a great first period against St. Cloud, stunk in the second period, and came back and dominated the third period. They had a great first period against Boston U, stunk in the second period, came out and were fantastic in the third period.
That's great.
This time, they were great in the first period, stunk in the second period, and
didn't show up for the third period.
And they managed to still stink in the third period.
And I'm telling you this, that was their greatest chance to win an NCAA championship was that game. There's no promise you'll get back there next year. There's no promise you get back 2 years from now. They could have won that game by playing a smarter third period.
No, they couldn't have.
The hell they couldn't.
No, I mean, they could have, sure, because it's hockey. It's random. But they got beat by a better team. Sorry.
I'm not going to deny that they were beat by a better team, but they were a team that was easily handling the so-called better team. Easily handling them in the first period. Well, that's too bad. Do the same thing you did in the first period.
Why can't they do that every time?
Do it every time.
Yeah, exactly.
How come you know what?
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. They stunk.
You know what happened after the first period? The coach from the other team said, "Don't let them do that." And they didn't.
They tightened her up.
Yeah, they tightened her up. Well, they sure as hell did. They tightened her up.
And meanwhile, you got basketball idiots beating each other up.
Let me introduce this topic because last Wednesday or Thursday on News from the Krabby Coffee Shop, I came out vehemently against basketball.
Yeah, you really
because I discovered a recorded interview with James Naismith who talked about the very first basketball game.
What the hell is he talking about?
Just shut up and listen, you dumbbell. The kids were bored. It was a winter storm. He invented this basketball game. He hung up the peach baskets, all that crap. But he hadn't invented dribbling. The first game was absolute mayhem, fist fighting, kicking, and one kid ended up getting knocked out. And I said, if that was basketball today, I would watch every single game.
So did you watch yesterday then?
My God, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. I want more of this. Was spent, and it was two teammates.
If you can't find anybody else on the other team to fight your own.
That's
guy.
right.
That's so wonderful. That's awesome.
Who was the family, the hockey playing family, Patrick? They would go to the bar, and if they couldn't find a fight, they'd fight each other.
The Bufflins up in
Bufflins, that's right.
Bufflin's uncles. He had 3 uncles out there when Mom brought him home to Reusse, right? Not Warroad, Reusse.
Sure. I knew it was somewhere in northern Minnesota.
Yeah, and they said the boys, the uncles went to the bar, and if they couldn't find somebody to fight, they'd fight themselves.
What was also
blinders.
What was also awesome, not only did this knucklehead take a swing at a teammate, the other dumbass punched a wall.
Yes, that's what I said. I started off. It's very difficult to punch a teammate and not be voted your team's moron of the game. But in this case, Rudy simply finished second.
Wow.
Jaden McDaniels. I got to fine him $50,000. I don't care what anybody says. Jaden, this idea.
What do you fine Gopher?
He's not going to the game. They suspended him for today.
Will he miss his pay for that game?
Although I don't know how they pay him in the playoffs. Yeah. He's already got his, whatever it was this year, 30-some million. So, yeah, he's a real beauty. But the good thing is...
These guys are idiots.
The good thing is they only gave up 5 players and 4 draft choices for him. And they got him at this price for, I think, the next 5-6 years.
3 I thought it's 3 more years, yep.
I had to make this announcement last night. I was troubled by this as I was sleeping last night. I'm going to go to bed, and at 11 o'clock, 11:30, I realized that 7.5 months early, basically the turkey of the year is settled.
Oh,
Right.
Tim Connolly, the guy who made this trade. How are we going to beat him? Who's going to pass him?
it won't be topped.
You're going to have to be caught exposing yourself
In church.
in church, something like that. Yes. Go up to the aisle and just wave it all over the place, and then really do something really offensive after that. How are you going to beat this guy out? They're going to be paying for this till the end of the decade. For this guy.
This play-in thing, too. What a bunch of BS
they
that
would have
is.
made the playoffs if they would have made the playoffs. Doesn't make any difference. Listen, I'll pick you up. We're going to drive out to St. Croix, and we're going to bet $1,000 a piece on the Lakers to cover whatever the number is tomorrow.
Yep.
And then still get another chance
Yes,
Friday.
Yeah, but Friday, but they're not going to beat anybody. Oklahoma's, just mercifully. I'll tell you, Edwards was fantastic down the stretch line.
You know what? Everything that I dislike about the NBA, he's the opposite of that. He wants to play. I like that kid a lot.
Yeah.
He's fun to watch.
Here, let me bring this up, though. Sports writers for my entire life, and me too, I'm sure, me too, not me too in that sense, but me too, love distractions. This is going to be a distraction, right? How are they going to handle this distraction? We found out yesterday that athletic teams don't give a bleep about, the modern athlete does not give a bleep about distractions. If there was ever a team that should have been distracted,
It would have been the Wolves.
It was one that had one of their players punch another and the other being even stupider and punch a wall, their best defensive player, and they still figured out a way to play great in the fourth quarter.
Did that moron punch a concrete block wall?
Yes. It's a wall that... I think it has
Find some sheetrock.
I think it has a tarp on it. So he might be obtuse enough to think that it was punching a tarp, but he broke his hand. Mm-hmm. So good luck to you, son. You're,
It's too bad because he's a great player.
Almost as stupid as the Gophers.
I think I should call him Motzko and get him to be a guest on Garage.
I wish him
my
no.
God.
I wish him no ill. I don't have anything against Motzko. By all accounts, he's a hell of a guy.
He said that wasn't the strategy.
Did you have a timeout? What's his name? Bob, and give him a tongue lashing.
Yes. He said that wasn't the strategy, but there was no evidence there was a different one. So anyway. Yeah, it was disappointing to say the least. But I do love all the Gopher fans who didn't go to a game for 6 years.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They went to the Big Ten. Now they're it's like they've been personally abused by.
But you did say this. You said in 5 years he's brought him back.
He has. People care.
They were down there, man. There were a lot of Gophers fans.
He hasn't been here 5 years, has he?
Yeah.
Already?
18. But the 1 year there wasn't a championship.
Oh, the COVID year.
It pretty much was the same as the Mankato game last year.
Yeah, exact same.
Except Mankato put more pucks in the net, but it was 5-1. Mankato just beat them up physically and took over the game in the second period and dominated in the third.
Well, Quinnipiac's for real.
Weren't the Gophers ahead of Mankato last year?
I don't recall. I can't remember.
But Mankato did the same thing to them.
What can we tear up about the Masters?
You almost called Koepka.
The Lord intervened and Liv didn't win, so that was good.
But two Liv players tie for second.
Yeah, they do. Patrick Reed, they had 3 of the top 6.
There's Reed, yep.
But your guy Koepka, I really thought he looked very confident. They played 30 holes yesterday, and Rahm beat him by 8 strokes. Mm-hmm. It wasn't quite Nick Faldo, because I don't think he choked like Nick Faldo did.
Victor Hovland will never win a major.
Why?
He can't putt.
Yeah, he was rolling it pretty good.
Can't putt.
For a while.
Can't putt.
Okay. Well, Rory will never win the Masters because he can't putt. He went home.
Yeah.
He missed the cut.
The poor Tiger, I don't blame him for withdrawing to you.
No, that weather. Oof.
Jeez Louise.
It is amazing they got the thing finished Sunday, though, after that monsoon Saturday.
Well, they got that thing built to absorb rain, and they got some
but
pumps
the
under
creek
each green.
the creek was down in front of 12 was almost going up on the green, and then by the time they played, they had the water out of there. So they're probably pumping that water onto that land they bought across the street.
Will live players be allowed in the PGA?
Yes,
Oh,
PGA of America, because it's not the Tour.
that's true.
Yeah.
So they'll be allowed in the Open too.
Yeah, they're both opens. Yeah, they're
Both
allowed.
opens.
Yeah,
Yep.
if they're qualified, they're getting them all of them, and a lot of them are major winners. So,
So
You know who
basically, they won't
watched-
show up at John Deere.
you know who watched a lot of golf?
Me.
The bride,
Really?
because she watched the Netflix series.
Oh yeah.
The 8-part series. She was rooting lustily against Lib, even though she didn't know what it was. But she wasn't quite sure what it was.
She
but
is.
was
You aren't kidding. She is a sports documentary. Oh my God! Why can't I?
Yes, yes.
You know, I watch that too, and you know what? It's golf. I didn't really learn much.
No, I didn't.
They're
either.
kind of
They
boring
didn't.
people.
Well, I think the number one thing I learned was that how easy it was. Koepka's the most confident-looking guy on a golf course you've ever seen, but he's got these demons that that was.
I also learned that his wife's out the door if he ever finishes 15th. She's there for one reason.
Yeah, right.
She's
To
just a
bleep us.
toy. She's just a toy. He finishes 15th, she's gone.
Well, I think she's. If she gets half of it right now, she's okay. 'Cause it's how much did they give him? $200 million to sign?
No, he got $1.5 million though.
No. But
To sign with Liv, I don't know. I don't know.
With the Saudi prince.
I can look that up.
I don't know.
It had to be over 100. It had to be a couple hundred for him.
Phil, where did Phil come from yesterday? Holy
I don't
mackerel.
know. And he turned the crowd around. The crowd was
Yeah,
not
yeah.
paying any attention to him earlier, and then they were cheering for that jerk.
Koepka took the reported $150 million payday
all?
from Liv
I thought he would've got
on.
more.
What's the date on this?
Yeah, but there's strings attached to that money somehow.
Somehow it comes off your winnings.
It's like getting a book advance.
Oh,
You
is
know,
that
you
how
gotta-
it works?
Well, something like that. There's strings attached.
Most book advances
Aren't
that I'm
150
familiar with are considerably less than that. I know, Chip was my. He was the driving force behind this book that we did, and we got a slight advance. And Chip's waiting anxiously for the next checks, and I said, Chip,
Chip.
there are none.
Chip didn't run out and buy a BMW. I hope.
No, I said, the publishing company, I am still getting receipts on the Sid book, 1997, telling me I still owe them $9,000 because of, but you don't have to pay it. But you would have to somehow 30 years later sell a lot of books.
I'm just thinking of this right now. Friday, I leave here to head home for the day, and I'm listening to the ball game or the introductions of the ball game. And I know he did this specifically because he listens to you too. Adam Abrams is on the radio because the radio took the feed to announce all of the team personnel and then the lineup. And do you know what Double A did?
What?
When he introduced Michael A. Taylor. And I know he did that because it drives
to get Pat mad.
Yeah.
Oh, because Patty, I don't like middle
I
initials.
don't want an
Well,
initial.
if you don't need one, if the other guy quit 6 years ago and we still need an A,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was great, though. I openly laughed when I heard it on the radio because I know he did it on purpose.
Joe, I think we can all agree on this. Johnny, you still there? You gone?
Nope, Johnny and Kenny checked out.
gone. Isn't the clock, the pitch clock's the great? Jackie Robinson,
I'm turning around.
Jackie Robinson, 1947, integration. That was pretty good.
That was pretty important.
This is two. This
This is
number two.
second.
This
Wow.
is
That's big of you to say. That's big.
This is second. It's unbelievable.
It's amazing.
My question to Rocco after the session was done downstairs, I said, Rocco, in the history of Western civilization, where would you rate the pitch clock? And he said 11 out of 10. He loves it.
Okay, I got a way you can save another minute or two.
What?
You don't have to change balls every time it touches the net.
Yeah, that's true.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
you don't
it is.
change a base hit
Why
ball.
we started that? Because we thought they were going to scuff the ball.
Right.
That would be their excuse.
Right.
If they catch you with a scuffed ball, you could say, well, it was fouled out. You know?
I just saved you another minute.
So, case in point, this guy right here and his brother and his buddy all sat with me and watched 2 whole innings of the game yesterday. That would not have happened a year ago, and I'm dead serious.
What was your brother doing in here?
No. This was yesterday. At home, we were watching. They would not have sat and watched 2 innings with me a year ago.
Oh, okay. All right.
And that's going to be huge for baseball if they can keep these younger fans watching their product.
I never got your take on where you think the Twins are in the hated Central Division. What do you think they're going to do?
The lineup isn't very good, and it's a lot worse when Correa says he has a bad back and Joey Gallo has a sore rib. You should see the lineup today; it's a joke. And they just don't have. They got
Fourth inning already.
Yes, isn't it amazing? And they already they just.
How bad is Kepler hurt?
I don't know. They had to put him on a DL because he's not able to say that he's feeling fine. So anyway. Yeah, they don't. They've swung the bats 3 times in 8 games. So the other 5. Yesterday, anybody watch this kid yesterday? Hunter Brown.
Oh man.
Oh man.
I was pretty plugged into golf.
He's this guy grew up as in suburban Detroit as a big Verlander fan, and he's kind of copied everything he can from him.
He's going to have a nice career,
including the 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Ooh, was he good?
They just keep bringing up guys that are their pitching development has been spectacular.
Most of them are Latin American. This is
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
They have that, but anyway, the lineup that they're putting out there right now doesn't have a chance to succeed.
Do you still have your story you did on GL about baseball?
Oh, yeah.
Were you going to give it to him?
Are you aware that climate change is resulting in more home runs?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Warmer, thinner air.
So it's not the baseball?
Oh, no, it's not baseball.
It wasn't 2019. It wasn't the fact they were using a golf ball.
No, this is climate change because the air is warmer and thinner.
Where did this wasn't a Tribune editorial, was it?
It was the always available Seth Borenstein from the Associated Press.
Oh, really?
In fact, I'm going to give you this story. You might get a column out of it. It's the damnedest thing you've ever seen.
That would not explain this time of year when it's cold.
No, it wouldn't, Pat. None of this would explain anything because it's all BS.
How about that one that was just golfed out of Target Field?
If it wasn't a sizzling 56 degrees.
There you go, Pat. A new study. It's a study.
Alberto when they hit that home run into left field. So
that wasn't from the Pioneer Press. That version of it.
Our boys are now down 4-1. I need that one. That's good. This is fantastic. Hit me.
I knew the game was on. I knew he would just end up watching the game.
I had so much delight when I realized that the Twins were playing at 1 o'clock on a Monday because that rarely happens because I miss primetime preview on the air.
Well, plus the Twins are so out of date. They play in the afternoon on Easter Monday thinking people still get the day off of school. We have spring breaks now.
Oh, that's why they're playing at 1 o'clock today.
I don't know why else.
They do play a night game in this series.
Tomorrow night, and then we're back today on Wednesday. Yeah. But anyway.
Can we get back to golf for a minute?
Another topic. Okay, let's go.
I think Rahm will win the career Grand Slam before Rory, who would have to win the Masters to win it.
Too.
I think he'll win it.
What's he won now?
He's got a U.S. Open and a Masters.
That's all he's got.
That's it?
Mm-hmm. Oh. They know that. What is he the first? Did Seve never won the U.S. Open, right?
I don't believe so.
I think they said he's the first Spaniard to.
Well,
I lost my ball. Never won the U.S.
Open. But Sergio never won it.
No, I think he almost did. No, that was a PGA. He and Tiger had the big
Chicago.
shootout when he was a 20-year-old kid. But he's he plays golf and he looks like this big lump without any personality. But you hear him talking afterwards.
Oh, he's great.
Really outgoing guy.
I heard 2 things about golf. this weekend, watching so much and watching Brandel Chambly so much on the Golf Channel. I heard two things. One of them from Nicholas, who rarely says anything meaningful as far as I'm
Boy,
concerned.
does he look old, though.
Yeah, he is
Only
old.
because he's old.
He said, I don't know what the context was, but he said there's zero relationship between this current PGA and the golf that people in this country play. No relationship whatsoever.
Where they're hitting it. Yeah.
But think about it. A guy, he's playing North Oaks in 1962.
Sure, right.
And he shoots a 79. He's coming into the grill now with his buddies, and they turn on the Masters. They're watching what they just played.
Yeah, 40 yards
Pretty
more,
much.
but, yeah, they're
Now,
playing that.
now do that. You're watching a game you didn't just
No,
play.
hell no. He hit that one pretty good, 338,
Yeah.
or something like that.
That and just better juice on the ball and the way they spin it and sand and everything is
Well,
just
your biggest danger at Augusta is on those slick greens.
Yes.
Spinning it.
Yeah.
Rahm hit the greatest shot ever on 17 yesterday, but he had a little bit of spin on it, and by the time it ended up, he ended up down in the valley there.
Joe, you know why that
17.
is? Why there is no relationship? Climate change.
Then the other truth I heard, and this was Chambly.
Yeah.
He said, have you ever heard of Mickelson getting hurt? Aside from his skiing injury, has Mickelson ever been injured?
Lumpy. He's got soft muscles.
He went into my theory about baseball.
Mm-hmm.
These gym rats are too tight.
They're too tight.
They're too tight. They're too tight.
That was Gil.
Gil says they're too tight.
They're too
Everything
tight.
snaps.
Correa. He's too tight.
tight.
Too
He's not
tight.
playing
Too
today.
tight.
He's got a bad back.
But roly-poly Phil, who's never been a gym rat, he stays in
He
shape.
got in shape the last
Yeah,
5 years,
but he's never been a gym
He's
rat.
never been a. Look at Phil, boy, isn't he cut?
Yeah.
There's never been.
And he's never been injured,
No.
except for a skiing accident.
Yeah.
And poor Tiger, my God, he has no room left to get injured.
No, I don't.
There's
think,
nothing he
I
can
don't
get
even
injured
think-
with.
He'll play the British Open because the course is flat, and that course being wet and cold couldn't be a worse spot for a guy with a bad foot.
He
'cause
said
he's trying
every
to walk up
aspect
those-
of his game is great except for walking.
Yes.
Well, that's a
But
big
then-
part.
But then, when he was out in the storm the other morning, he hit it everywhere.
Yeah.
But fair territory. It was all over the place. It is amazing, though. He's 46 now.
Oh, no, I think he's older than that. 47 or 8.
Okay, but Phil's 5 years older than
Right.
him, and Phil's out there shooting 65.
And Phil won the PGA 2 years ago at
Yeah.
Kiwana. How do you
Yeah.
say that? Kiwana.
Kiowa, I
Yeah.
believe. Kiowa. There's something that I very much had to bring up, and I'll be damned.
Baseball.
He didn't write notes. He
Baseball.
didn't write
and
notes.
I forgot to write notes.
Climate change.
We got
That's
we got,
home runs.
That's
We
right.
got the
Home runs.
we got the hockey taken care of.
Yeah, the Gophers blew it.
We got the Timberwolves
Wild?
punching
Was
each
it the
other.
Oh,
Wild?
we didn't even talk about the
I haven't
Wild.
talked about the Wild. Losing Eck ain't good. Now, what do you think of the Wild packing it in tonight against the lowly Blackhawks?
I agree.
They're not going to. Why?
Why?
Because you
They
want
can
to play
still catch
Dallas.
Dallas.
Don't you want?
Oh, you want to play Dallas?
You want to play Dallas. You don't
Why
want
do
to
you
play.
want to play Dallas?
You don't want to play Colorado.
Well, no,
it's
but,
it's a horse apiece.
no, but if
Colorado's the
if-
much better team.
But if you pass Dallas, you don't play Colorado until.
That's true.
you
No,
know,
that's true.
You don't
That's
play
true.
Colorado.
No, you don't pack it in tonight. No.
But they.
Faber-
but they probably figure with their third team they can beat.
Faber's
the Blackhawks.
playing tonight,
They
isn't
might
he?
give the commie a night off.
They're
save 'em.
They're not playing a lot of their guys
Yeah.
tonight, but they're called up Rossi. He'll probably play center, and but they can still beat the Blackhawks without.
Was there great hopes for Mason Shaw?
I guess he's a rugged.
'Cause this is
player.
his fourth
knee
ACL.
surgery. Yeah, I guess he's really they all love him, and he's kind of a warrior.
Didn't he win
Nick,
the
you know
match?
who could have used him? Gophers.
That's right.
He's got an edge. He's got an edge to him. They don't have it.
Well, you already got your Gopher cheap shot tonight when Faber takes the ice.
What?
Well, the Gophers could have used a guy like this in that championship game.
Now he wasn't on the ice when they gave up the goal, right, in 10 seconds.
Boy, he damn near played the whole period.
Yeah, I know. And then they didn't have the first line If you want to question something, not having the first line and the first defense out there on the faceoff.
That's right.
But as a newspaper man, you're going to lose anyway. I was rude. 10 seconds. Let's go.
Oh, as a newspaper man on the East Coast.
Yes. Yeah.
That was heaven.
Yes, it was right off the bat. You know what I said, though? In the immortal words of Frank Broyles, Keith, where was the safety man?
Where was the
safety man?
There was no safety man. You can't
Next
score.
year, this baby's in St. Paul.
Oh, is it coming back?
The Final Four.
You know
Frozen.
What? You know what?
Frozen.
Next year we won't be tight. Next year we won't be tight.
Too
We're
tight.
winning it
Yeah,
all.
you're too tight. How many guys are they losing off this club?
At least 5 or 6.
Yeah.
They've already had 4 of them signed.
Yeah.
Lacombe and somebody else signed today. Johnson?
They got some wonderful players.
Yeah.
But this seemed like a group that genuinely did want to do this together.
Yeah,
Well,
Faber came back.
they should have.
Yeah, well,
They played the dumbest period in hockey.
You'd fine them $100,000.
$250,000 each.
You're paying back your tuition.
Fines and suspensions.
Yeah, well, I got to say, your view is a popular one with
Because
Gopher
it's
fan.
learned. It's a learned view.
Okay, all right.
I now remember what I was going to say because I knew you guys were going to bring up golf. I think you both should petition to cover the Ryder Cup this year.
Where? Paris.
Rome.
Rome. That'd be even better.
I got a kid in Rome who went to Easter Mass yesterday
right.
at St. Peter's.
That's right.
Yeah, Jake.
Really?
Yeah.
What the heck?
He's doing a lot of study.
One of these phony study abroad deals where they go skiing in Austria.
I went to Easter Mass yesterday morning for one express purpose.
Because you're a CEO.
No, to thank the Lord for the pitch clock. That was.
Oh, I read. You were wondering if that was blasphemy.
I don't care about the rest of this nonsense. Curing the sick, all that stuff.
I know you're risen, Jesus. I know you're risen.
But thank you.
But what you really came through was the pitch clock.
Thank you, Lord. I don't have that much time to live. Think how much more baseball I'll get to watch.
Oh my God!
I know it's quite a day in the theological calendar, but you did something that was beyond anything you've ever done.
I know you died for a lot of sins, but the pitch clock.
Oh my God!
Thank the Lord and pass the ammunition.
The difference is truly amazing.
It is incredible. It is incredible. So, anyway. Yeah, yesterday there was a 348, but it went 12 innings. It was a lot of runs, but the Gioni won over 3 hours. Yeah. Incredible. Anyway.
Well, even the West.
You know what? I've got to start looking at the box scores for time.
Because even the West Coast games, they're wrapping up at 11 or whatever.
Hey, where do we have the U.S. Golf Open this summer?
Where?
I can look it up.
I think we got a West Coaster, which means we'll get primetime golf.
Yeah, I think it is on the West.
Is it at my course in La Jolla?
L.A. Country Club.
It's L.A. Country Club.
You're right.
So we'll be getting golf at 9
The
p.m.
L.A. Country Club is supposed to be one of the greatest courses in the country, and they didn't let the riffraff of the pros in there for years.
Here's 238. Well, here's a 331
and they
or
didn't.
340.
The USGA tried to get on it for years.
Yankees in Baltimore, 228. Tampa Bay and Oakland with a lot of runs scored, 239.
How about your Rays?
How about 9-0? And not only did they win 9, they beat Oakland 11-0, 2 straight games. They're beating everybody by the smallest margin of victory is 4 runs.
We tried desperately when we were down in Florida because the last day that we were there was the Rays home opener, and I tried to find a way to go just to get a photo of the concrete dump to send to Such.
Yes.
Say, hey, the dome wasn't that bad.
By the way, the home opener, he would have had no trouble getting a ticket.
Well, that's the only thing.
Yesterday and Saturday when they were going, so the bridge isn't an excuse on Saturday.
Yep, get on your mic, Patrick.
Pittsburgh, Chicago, 221. But get this, San Francisco, Kansas City, 215.
Yes. Well, Joe, Twins had the 157, and they looked for a while like the next game was going to be quicker. Remember, then they had a rally and gave up some runs. But that one, they had 1 inning in the last. Here's the 4-run rally that Houston had against Joe Ryan on Saturday. Took 3 minutes.
Right.
2 hits, nothing. They get a line dive, rocket home run.
233 yesterday. That ain't bad.
No, it ain't bad.
I'll take 230.
I knew we could win you over. The most impatient man in America should.
I'm fully endorsing it.
Okay,
I can't believe how well I love it.
Did you say so at Easter Mass like your counterpart?
No, it didn't occur to me to be thankful for the pitch
Should have
clock.
had somebody who goes up and throws all the offerings in there to throw that in there. If I would have been St. Mary's at the lake where my cousin used to be the priest, I would have went up.
Mine would have been, why'd you let the Gophers play the stupidest period in hockey?
Please, dear Lord, next year, let them try to get it out of their
Here's
own
the
zone.
problem. There might not be a next
Joe
year.
also wants to take it to the step where Motzko should be fired, and I thought that's a bit extreme, Joe, for losing a championship game.
I'm prepared to believe that Motzko did not specifically tell him to play that way.
Okay.
What are we doing here?
It looks like
watching
it's
the
a
game.
booth review.
Yeah, it's a review, but they're explaining. They called Rocco and the other manager out to explain what was going on here. I don't know. Big controversy.
Did you go talk to your guy Dusty at all?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I should have.
I thought you were going to for sure because Dusty's your guy.
Yeah, he's great.
You were rooting for him to win the series last
Yes,
year.
I was. Yes, I was. But he should have quit right then.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. So the deal was they didn't want the GM to come back because he and the owner hate each other. But Dusty was willing to come back on a 1-year deal. Was that the bit with the Astros?
Dusty probably likes money. What the heck? All right.
Okay.
We're done. Did we give him an action-packed show
Yes,
today?
we did.
Action-packed. Action-packed.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
See you later.
Hey,
Played
convertible.
the dumbest
top,
period.
Oh,
in hockey.
top
Big
down
news.
day.
This is
Top
breaking
down
news, Joe.
day.
Yes.
Convertible top opener
That
right
gets-
now.
Today?
Coming
That gets
up today.
fanfare.
Get
Wanna
a
get on
note on that. Get a note on that. April 10th might be a record early opener. No, you probably had some March openers.
Yeah, but 60-something today. That's good
Hey,
enough.
South Minneapolis, you're getting a Reusse walk. Isn't that your route? Don't you go
Oh,
south?
he's out Golden Valley way.
But don't you take that road after you leave
Sometimes
here?
I go down the
River Boulevard.
Road
Yeah.
and go out Plymouth. Yeah.
A Reusse walk.
Ricey walk.
All right.
Top down.
See you,
Island
gentlemen.
line with a top.
You have heard me discuss my relationship with Josh Arnold for some time. The reason I advocate that you give Josh a call is simple. Trust and results. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions. As has been said, through all of our relationship, past results do not guarantee future returns. And while that is true, Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. You can understand that Josh will make sure you are not paying more in fees than you are seeing in returns. Yes, that is more common than you would like to think. Do yourself a favor and have a booking with Josh for the 48-minute free evaluation. This is a no-obligation meeting. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. You will be glad that you did.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Patrick Reusse is a paid endorser.